Hey guys, Dark Humility here. You can always catch me streaming on Twitch at www.twitch.tv/Dark Humility. Guys, today we're going to do an update for my Hardcore Zealer. My most popular guide on YouTube thanks to you guys. And he is even more beastly. According to the advice that I kind of gave for upgrading his gear, we now have an Exile, and because of that, we also have more res and charms, which allows us to swap and use Battle Cry to lower the Uber's resistances as well, which has made us so much stronger having a consistent source of Battle Cry and Amplify damage, getting so much more negative res on those Ubers, which is really, really strong just in general. We also have a lot of other new gear as well. But first, I should just go over, some of our stats here. So when we're running keys, we have almost 30,000 defense now. It's almost comical how crazy you can get the defense on a build with Exile. My attack rating is hitting around 18,000 with Demon Limb, pretty consistently against the Ubers and whatnot, so it's pretty awesome. Under damage, the Mercenary procs' Might Aura is hitting like 9 to 10k depending on the gear setup. Right now it shows a bit lower than that, but that's because I don't have Might on him. In my res, I put some extra points in Resist Lightnings to shore up my res for when I don't use Fortitude against the Uber bosses. So we have a bit more max res in there as well. Our res is at least 50 stacks, so Mephisto's Conviction is negative 50, so make sure you have at least plus 50 on that. Right now, of course, I'm not using my gear for that, but you can see my res is stacked and ready to go. We still have our 48 FHR breakpoint. We're still hitting at least 60 attack speed, which is what you're going to want for this weapon here, Berserker Axe. Remember to use those online attack speed calculators to figure out what it is for your weapon. This is one of the better weapons though, and we're still using it. It's still a beastly weapon. And overall, it's going to be awesome. Yeah, make sure to check out this guide on PD2 Guides and other guides that I have on YouTube, but today we're just doing an update to form just to show you guys how much of a beast he is, or how much of a beast he's become. We definitely have some gear swap outs for Ubers, so we're using Shaft Stop now. We can get our DR up to 60%, which is pretty crazy. I see that on the screen there, of course, as well. But yeah, we can get up to 60% DR against Ubers. 50% is the cap, but with 60%, even with being amped in an area like Matron's Den, not much of a risk anymore, not much of a risk at all. We're really mitigating so much damage. And of course, we still have our other swap out gear for the Ubers, which we're going to use here in a second, including some of these charms. And of course, the Mercenary is now using my Barb's weapon for the Whirlwind Barb. Instead of Shales, now they're Ohms and a Zod, but that's okay, I just use it for two purposes. So he hits really hard. Once he gets his Might Aura and my Aura, the Fanaticism Aura, he's actually doing 16,000 damage. Once I get the Might Aura on that, yeah, you can definitely see that. He's already doing 12,000, which is Fanaticism. He hasn't procced his Might Aura yet, but that's okay. And then, of course, this item is better for Ubers. You can use other attack speed glows, but this is kind of nice to give him some bonus fire res, half freeze duration. We're still hitting a pretty decent attack speed breakpoint, just putting other attack speed gear on him. This is more a key farming belt, but if you want to do Ubers, you can definitely put like T-Gods and stuff on him, and he's still going to be very strong. Overall, you can still see like we have really strong Mercenary gear, and we still have those gear swap outs for Ubers, but we have Death, and for keys we're using Death, Fortitude, which gets us a bit more damage than Shaft needs. We don't need that much DR against key bosses, so it's fine. And then we still have our Crown of Ages from before, and this is really the big thing. This is the thing that is very different from before. So on all of the builds now, there's Exile. That maximum cold res, fire res, that freezes target, it's even more consistent than Death, and that extra defense, and of course the big one, the chance to cast Amplify damage is really, really the kicker. That thing is going to shred these Uber bosses. And since we're not using as much res when I do this plus shaft stop in my armor, we're going to really be able to shred those Ubers even harder with Battle Cry. I can actually swap safely now on hardcore because I have an unlidless on here, and because I'm not relying as much on the shield for my res as I was with the Storm Shield. So now I can put just more res in my charms. My charms are pretty much the same deal, but there's some upgrades here. As before. Yeah, I'm using a lot more like res charms, life charms, just to kind of shore up our res. And we're still using a lot of those really solid items in general. But yeah, he is still a monster. I'll show you guys what an Exile build can do with Fortitude and with Shaft, and alternatively with some swap outs for Ubers. So we're just going to do key runs, one of each, mini Ubers, one of each, and then of course we're going to do Uber bosses to show you just how much stronger he is. And once you can actually get that Exile base, it's going to be awesome. One thing to note is that you don't necessarily need an F Exile base. That's what's going to get your defense absurdly high, but it's not necessary. If you just want to make this build, it's really hard to find a good F Exile base with 4 sockets or 0 sockets, which you can Larza quest and get a high amount of res on it. So you can just use a non-F one if it's really tough to trade or find for this. This is definitely an expensive trade for me. I traded for the base in this case, so yeah, it's expensive. So you can use a non-F one. It's going to be almost as effective. You won't have as much defense, but you'll be able to do the job just the same. Alright guys, let's get it going. So against the key bosses, I will not be swapping to Battle Cry, but that's okay. We're still going to be charging with Vigor. Remember, he is one of the most efficient key bosses in the game. Make sure to check out that Zealer guide once again if you want to learn more about how to farm keys efficiently, in addition to how to do the Ubers and the mini Ubers. Yep. Let's go. So he is a monster. Now, with my mercenary casting amp on Gavel of Pain, with me casting amp, or odds of casting amp, is insanely high. One thing to note is that I can still get a Pride mercenary with Templars, and that might overall still be better in the end. I don't yet have a Pride and a Templars, so I might do a 3rd update for this character. But right now what I'm doing is I'm doubling up on our chance to cast the Amplify damage, so that when I do key bosses or even Ubers, if the mercenary happens to survive, our odds of casting amp is even higher, which leads to even quicker kills. The amps themselves do not stack though from the Gavel of Pain and from the Exile, so keep that in mind. They don't stack on top of one another. Whichever one comes first will be the dominant one. One of them I think is one level higher, so this one's level 15, this one's level 16, so the mercenary procs his, it's -1 physical res higher, so it's kind of nice, but it's not a big deal. We're definitely doubling up on it right now though, and it's pretty awesome to have all this chance to cast the amp. And like I said in my guide video, the negative physical res with the nerf to Crushing Blow this season, so important. And there you go. One of the bosses actually drops a key. It's pretty sick.
I can already tell that I'll be your best friend in this forsaken.
Yeah, that negative physical res from Amp is really huge. So there you go. There's a key right there. It's good to know that those key bosses still drop keys, right? Maybe we'll get one organ when we do the organ demos, just to let you know they can also drop organs. Chance to drop keys no matter what, no matter the player count, no matter any situation, is 1 out of 3. The same goes for the organs in Season 2. There was a way to make it like 80% chance to drop just having players in the game in Season 1, but that's no longer the case. Yeah, man, there's been coffee involved. We're good. I also dropped a D key. Now, why couldn't you do that when I wasn't demoing before? If I knew you were going to do that, I wouldn't have bothered getting all 3 keys before this. Alright, so as you can see with Amp, like, that consistent of Amp, I'd shred the key bosses with Fortitude. No problem. Now, when we go into the Uber boss areas, they're a bit more dangerous and hardcore. So, I'm going to swap out to my shaft stop, which means my res is going to drop a little bit. It's not going to matter until we get to the final Uber bosses, but for now, that's fine. And you can put a few more points into strength to use soul drainers, which has even more negative physical res depending on the quality. Mine are still not amazing, but I might have a much better one for you guys next time. But I didn't put enough points into strength for that, and it's only -6 anyway, and this is pretty nice for Decrepify, maybe having a bit of extra attack speed and open wounds anyway. And this is giving me 40 additional life, so it's definitely not a terrible idea to wear this instead anyway for now. But once we get to the final Ubers, I switch to T Gods, which will allow us to wear this. And this is going to be our main gloves for most of the Uber bosses. Alright, so I think we're ready to go for the mini Ubers. I think the main swap out for the mini Ubers is just a shaft stop. Obviously, when you're running keys, of course, you can swap out for this MF as well. And I'm actually getting a decent amount of MF now because Exile actually gives some MF. But for the mini Ubers, it's not going to matter at all. So let's start creating the portals. Let's go. So I'm going to... Oh, yeah. Make sure to use your Demon Limb to boost your attack rating, give you some fire damage. Mostly for the attack rating. For key running, you don't need it. It's not needed. But for mini Ubers, getting that like somewhere close to 20,000 AR is pretty awesome. You don't need it necessarily, but it definitely helps train them down faster. So now that we're doing mini Ubers, we are going to swap to Battle Cry. Alright, where is he? Alright, so I swapped a Battle Cry on my CTA. Oh, not properly. Alright, let's stop fumbling the buttons. Okay, anyway. Now once you get your Zeal up, your Battle Cry, and Amp, which stacks. So, 2 Amp stones stack, but an Amp and Battle Cry do. And you can see just how crazy it is. Now he can drop Mephisto's Brain as an organ. Awesome! We got a Mephisto's Brain. Round of applause from the chat. Let's go. Alright, so there's a 1 in 3 chance the organs drop just like the keys. And you can use any organs, of course, to make the Uber Tristram portal once again. Awesome that we got this brain here. We actually needed that so that we can get 2 more torches tonight, including the one we're about to demo. So that's kind of nice. Sweet. Now, if you don't get Lilith, once again, you can just save and exit, but I'm actually just going to demo all 3 areas once again. You can see just how ridiculously quickly with Exile, on top of Battle Cry, on top of any other physical res you can use. Like, let's say you actually use Soul Drainers for this. It can be even faster, so this character is a monster. Once you get the ideal equipment we were talking about in the first guide. And what do you know? Alright, that was pretty easy. I like that. Easy fun. I need brains. Everyone can eat brains. Everyone eats brains. She drops the Diablo's horn, but once again, not guaranteed to drop it, so let's see what she does. If it's 1 out of 3 at these 3 key sets we're using, the odds state that we should get 1 here, so that should have been the only one we get, but we can get better RNG than that. Pretty decent organ RNG today, so... Oh, what do you know? And she dropped a horn. Wow. Man, are we gonna get an organ from every single organ boss in this demo?
Hello.
Should do demos more often. Yeah, right, owner? Damn, dude. Okay. Alright, so as you can see, that was a very fast kill there. Just put Battle Cry in her, you have consistent amp. That time my mercenary didn't even die, but normally he dies. So having that amp up when the mercenary dies is really important. Against the big Ubers, he's probably going to die, so you're going to see me having amp somewhere on my person is going to be pretty huge. In addition to all that additional defense, and the fact that I have max fire, cold, and of course I put some additional points in a resist lightning to get some more lightning res to make up for the fact that I'm using shaft against Mephisto. Mephisto still does a lot of damage at like 80 res, so I like to have a bit more than that. It's a preference thing though, you can survive without that, it's just harder. Alright, so once again, Battle Cry, Amp. Pretty easy, right? Now the reason I can swap to Battle Cry against Uber Mephisto now is because I have the res elsewhere. When I had my 3-socket Storm Shield, most of my res is on my Storm Shield. And that meant that swapping would have been suicide against Mephisto if he uses Charge Bolt attack, so... There's a Charge Strike attack, so we're not going to entertain that. But now we can swap to Battle Cry, and we have consistent amp that is reliable, even if the Mercenary dies, so... That's the main thing that we're showing off here, and look just how much faster these Uber bosses die. So once you get that proper gear here, you get that Death, you get that Exile. Exile doesn't necessarily have to be Ethereal. You can use something a little bit weaker, but you can get something stronger there. Well, alright, so one of the Uber bosses did not drop an organ. That would have been pretty insane if we got all 3 there. That's okay, we did not get Bale's Eye. 1 in 3. I definitely would, you know, I kind of would prefer it, you know, not gonna lie. If the key RNG was bad, kind of like in vanilla, and it always dropped an organ again, but, you know. It is what it is, and it's okay. Alright, sweet! And now it's time to demo the main event. Show off this Zealer for what he's really made of in his final form. Not his final form. I think we might do another update once we have, like, even better gear, but I think this is, like, pretty close to what you ideally want compared to maybe the last one that was a bit more of a struggle, but could still do it. When you don't have Exile, it's definitely a little more challenging, but we are in a good spot now. So now we're going to put these organs up in here. Remember, it can use any 3 organs, so if you press transmute, it will consume 3 of them. And yeah, I'm going to show you guys a torch here at the end. Let's go. Alright, so Hellmouths for Diablo, Soul Drainers, T-Gods is going to allow us to wear it because the Dracs aren't giving us the strength. We have the strength on T-Gods it now, and that should be fine. I'm going to swap out this one, though. Yeah, I do swap out this one for Mephisto. And then, what you want to make sure here is that they're all 50 plus, so that Mephisto can't lower your res to the point to where the other monsters are doing more damage, including his mages and other things that he spawns. So we're good. Cold res is 129 over 79, which means we're going to be at 79 res. Even with his Conviction Aura. Even if we swap, we'll be at 122, which is fine for casting the Battle Cry, so that's okay, because his danger attack is the lightning one anyway, so we're fine. It's actually a lightning corrupted one, so naturally is perfect for this, so. Alright, let's go. Let's redo the Demon Limb proc, actually. Alright, chat, torch number 4 tonight. And the last demo for our hardcore PD2 Zealer update. Uber Tristram. Let's go. Alright, so we are set to go. Let's go fight him. I'm gonna want to pull them if possible. I don't know where Mephisto is, that's interesting. Mephisto seems to be on the other side.
My brothers have escaped you.
Oh wow, that's pretty rare. He doesn't normally get 2 crits in a row. So I'm gonna try to heal the mercenary so he can tank for me, but we don't really actually need him. is actually not ideal. Wow, what the heck? Actually ran out of juice there, no way. Okay, that normally doesn't happen. Normally we can kill him in one go, no problem, but he got some really good chunks on me that time, and I also didn't take enough juice. Wow. Dang, that made the more primitive gear look a bit better there, but as you can see, his HP went down way faster, so at least you can see how fast we're killing him at least. Wow, that's crazy. Okay, okay. Well, that's alright. It's a lot easier to kill him anyway, but normally you don't actually have to go back and get juice. That's interesting. Alright, Mr. Mephisto. I actually haven't had to do that like all the last 2 days, so that's impressive. You got a lot of crits on me, man. Lucky duck. Alright, so there we go. So as you can see, the Exile Amplify damage, put it in work, the Battle Cry putting in work. You might have noticed, like before, it was way... Like, if you take a look at this video and that last video, you can see it took a lot longer to get him down. GG! Yeah. But now, he dies very fast. Overall, way less hassle, unless he crits you like 50 times, but... whatever. Yeah, he ruined the demo, man. He crit me like 50 times that time. I don't know what's going on with that, but yeah. Oh, oops. The heck, man? Anyway. He still went down way faster than in my guide videos, so... it's fine. Just trying to show off the power of Exile, mostly, in Battle Cry here. If you can do it for solo Uber kills. It's not super important that we actually get, like, ideal kill scenarios, but that works. We actually did it in one go last time, which is kind of interesting, even without the Exile. Because the Mercenary stayed alive in the demo video for the first guide. What do I expect from the evil creature? I don't know. Alright, so with the Soul Drainers and the T-Gods, we can still go run up to Mr. Bale here. Bale's pretty easy. Bale's the easy one even without the Exile, but you can see with Exile and Amp, he goes down really, really fast. It's... Just compare this to the Zealer guide side by side, just like with Mephisto, and you can see it's pretty crazy. Yeah, usually. So maybe it's a good thing that happens, so you can see that it's not always super clean, right? I mean, it's not. You know, sometimes you're gonna have to put more potions in your inventory, which I forgot to do. And so, well, we got a Black Soulstone, which there's also odds for from the Uber bosses. That's one of the components for the creating a Diablo clone portal, or Vision of Terror object, which you can right-click to put you into declones territory. But now it's just Diablo, and for Diablo, I don't even use Dwarfstar anymore because we have more maximum fire res from Exile. Now I'm pretty comfortable just using Hellmouth, so that actually makes this a lot easier. So Diablo is actually way easier than he was the last time we saw him. So now I can cast Battle Cry and Amp. And I don't really need the Mercenary around. And Diablo is getting chunked. Like, he gets absolutely ruined. You can always recast Battle Cry, because the level 4 Battle Cry with any plus skills, which is not a lot in that physical build, doesn't last very long. But yeah, he is getting massacred. So, yeah, you might remember from the other Zealer guide, it took a long time to kill him. We really need to rely on that Hellmouth and the Dwarf Star for the Dark Lords to heal us. And it's not that bad anymore, not at all. We are killing him very quickly. Alright, there's no more battle cry on him, but that's okay, because he's about to go down. I'm not gonna bother. And so yeah, once you have Exile, it's like night and day, especially against Diablo, you can see it there, like, no problem. Also the fact that you have Amp on yourself, like the Mercenary is always gonna die to Diablo, Uber Diablo. If you have Amp on yourself, you can kill these physical enemies, even if they come in close. Including the ghosts at record speed. So it's really not a problem at all. Alright, we're ready to ID the torch. Let's go, chat. Let's guess on the torch. Get it. 30 to 60 all res. No, sorry, 30 to 60 vitality. 10 to 20 all res. And any of the 7 classes. Sorceress, Paladin, Druid, Assassin, Necro, Barbarian, or Amazon. Let's go. We got someone here to assist us with the grabbing of the torch, because I have a torch on me, so it's going to make it a little bit easier. It's always nice to have a buddy, or someone helping you out, just in general. Of course, you don't ever have to do Uber solo. You can definitely have a summoner or a curse friend or someone to help you out with that. So overall, it's pretty amazing stuff. Alright, guess the torch, guys. Guess the torch. Go, go, go. Alright, I think we're going to get our first Sorcerer's Torch out of these last 2 days. It's the only class we haven't seen at all. So let's see if we get a Sorcerer's Torch. Alright, let's go. Let's get it. Alright, so I am going to... Let's play it, man. Let's play it. We're opening the chest. Holy moly, dude. What?
The perfect atmospheric song in a video game.
Wow, that's crazy. Alright, anyway. Wow, YouTube, stop! Alright. Dang! Another crazy Druid Torch. Man, there's gonna be some nice Druid Torch prizes in our Slamfest prizes, man. It's pretty insane stuff. Well, GG, guys. There's a torch. They also drop us some standard of heroes, which we can use to imbue maps with additional stats if we cube them. Hope you guys enjoyed this Zealer update. As you can see, he is a monster now. Kills those Ubers like they're nothing. Solo, no problem. Always watch those crits from Mephisto, though, especially if you're playing hardcore. He can definitely hit very hard. And be safe, guys. Be safe on the hardcore servers. Hope to see you guys again soon with more build guides and more updates and more awesome content. Remember, you can always catch me at www.twitch.tv/darkhumility, usually streaming Diablo 2 7 days a week. Anyway, Dark Humility, over and out. Check out the guides. Let's go. See you guys later.